Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing a 2021 limited edition of 188 pieces in stainless steel at 41 millimeters in diameter. This is the Carl F. Bucherer Heritage Bicompax Annual Calendar Bucherer Blue New York Boutique exclusive, launched in October of 2021 in 188 pieces to commemorate the renaming of the former Torno Time Machine to the Carl F. Bucherer New York flagship boutique. 3 floors of watches, 4 if you count the basement. It is a tourist destination in and of itself, and this watch is part of a series to commemorate that rebranding. So yes, 41 millimeters in diameter, 14.6 millimeters thick, 50.3 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a broad and modern 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It is everything its name implies, a bi-compax chronograph and an annual calendar. But first and foremost, it is a full-sized men's watch. So keep this in mind. At over 50 millimeters lug to lug, you're going to want to wear this watch on a wrist at least as large as mine. My wrist, for demonstration's sake, is 16 centimeters in circumference, and while the watch will fit underneath the jacket cuff, some tight dress sleeves might not clear it. Keep in mind, though, that the bezel is dramatically domed and sloped, which does mitigate against cuff issues. It has a rather sporting strap with perforated leather on the top, a very lightly contrasting dark blue stitch. On the bottom, you can see calfskin in black, and then it has a sheer cut side showing the thickness of the layers of leather. It is a brand new Carl F. Bucherer factory strap. It includes a Carl F. Bucherer double folding clasp. You can see it uses little ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps so that the clasp cannot aggress against the pin snaps over time. It will remain a crisp closure. We also have twin trigger release so it cannot pop open accidentally. This is a relatively sporting watch, though it's not strictly speaking a sports watch. So if you are active, keep in mind that you must press both of these triggers to open it. It cannot pop open on its own. Here externally we have the Carl F. Bucherer logo, and then we also have a combination of satin and polish for additional aesthetic refinement. Bucherer, a company out of Lucerne, is the largest and richest vendor of watches in Europe, and since 2001, it has been reestablishing its house brand of watches, Carl F. Bucherer, and they've made great strides. The watches are genuinely worthwhile. Here you can see we have an elegant integrated lug profile with a bevel that runs from end to end, even though it thins out at the midcase. You can see the bezel has a vertical facet and then a domed profile that slightly step inward. You can also see that the lugs extend somewhat up along the profile of the bezel, which is an age-old case-maker trick to give you larger, longer, more graceful lugs but prevent excessive thickness. If they simply laid the bezel on top of the height of the lugs, this watch would be at least another millimeter thicker. We have an expensive domed and cambered sapphire. Remember, flat sapphires are cheap. Domed and cambered box sections are more expensive. Attention to detail is strong as we have polishing on the rounded and beveled chronograph pushers, and then the crown is alternately polished and media blasted with, once again, the Bucherer logo. The watch has 2 subsidiary setting modes. One is a stop seconds or quick set. The other is a quick set system for the date. I think I said quick set when I demonstrated hacking, but this is the hacking or stop seconds function. So you can rapidly stop and synchronize to a reference time. And then you also have the quick set system. Now you'll note there is a double-digit date up at 12 o'clock, so you get a big date in addition to an annual calendar. When I reach the end of the line, you could see that the calendar flips over and changes the month at 4:30 on the dial. So it is an annual calendar. You have your double date and you have your month, and you only need to correct it once annually during the transition from February to March. You also have a dial that's beautifully blazoned with a combination of silvers and blues. It's a gradient or fumé, fumé meaning smoked. So it starts almost perfectly silver white at the center, and then it fades to a sort of medium blue metallic at the edge. It has a tachymeter scale, which can be used in conjunction with the chronograph to gauge the speed of something such as a race car around a race course. Generally, it's used to gauge the speed of an object over a kilometer. We have hybrid syringe and baton style hands for the hours and minutes. The watch does not have a loom, even though it looks like it might. You can see the Arabic numerals are white with the exception of the 12 and the 6. And Karl F. Bucherer reminding you that the ancestral home in Lucerne has seen some version of the Bucherer retail setup since 1888. Sub-registers explain why this is called a bi-compax. It has 2 registers. We have running seconds over at 3 o'clock, and we have chronograph minutes over at 9. Flip it all over, and you can see why this is a New York boutique special edition. It features the reflected skyline of New York City, specifically Manhattan. On the reverse side, you can see 30 meters water resistant, individually numbered out of 188. This is an ETA 2892A2 with a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch annual calendar chronograph module on top, and a very similar module is used on Richard Mille watches that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, so you're getting a real bargain here. You can't see much of the base movement, but tech specs are impressive. It's an automatic winder that's quite tough and with Edachron, potentially very accurate when well regulated. It beats away at 8 beats per second, has the 42-hour power reserve, bidirectional winding, the stop seconds function. It pivots on 47 joules when you combine the DD module with the ETA base. And it does have the annual calendar function, the quick set, the hacking, and the chronograph mechanism. And because of the vertical clutch system used by the module, there's no jump or stagger when you activate the chronograph. And it always resets perfectly to the index at 12, which is characteristic of vertical clutch systems. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Karl F. Bucherer Heritage Bicompax Annual Calendar Bucherer Blue New York Boutique Limited Edition.